All right, we're back on Get Up. I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's no one more entertaining on Twitter than RC, and there's one tweet I want you to explain today, and I will read it for everybody now. That gorilla gonna kill all 99 of y'all because he's gonna have to track me afterward. I can be brave, but I'm trying to avoid stupidity. We can't hurt him. Can you explain?
You can't hurt. It's a gorilla. And here's the other thing, Greeny. Why are we fighting the gorilla? Is it he says it's for humanity? Are we just jumping in the zoo exhibit just to go throw hands? Am I fighting him because we're out in the open? Other thing, he lives by survival, Greeny. I don't live like that. I do TV, Greeny. And so they were like, well, we're going to pick people. We're going to go in waves. Send the fat boys first. Send the UFC fighters last. He going to kill John Jones. He going to kill Tom Aspinall. He going to kill Conor McGregor off GP. So it don't even matter. We can't win, Greeny. The other thing, gorillas don't even bother nobody. I don't care if it's 100 men. I don't care if it's raining men. I don't care if it's many men. The gorilla in 5.
He's very good. Okay, that was brilliant. If you know, you know. Here's the only thing I will say. I don't know how this whole fighting a gorilla thing started. I came into work minding my own business, and suddenly this had become a Twitter thing. I don't know how I missed it, but I will repeat that old legendary line. I don't have to run faster than the gorilla. I just have to run faster than you. I'm not fighting the gorilla. Okay.
Exactly it.
Let's get to some football here with these guys. Let's do more or less. Fort and Ball, let's start with the actual totals, the win totals on ESPN Bet. The Commanders' total is 9.5 wins. Fort and Ball, which way do we go?
I would say less here. This is going to be a very, very trendy selection for the public, but there are plenty of indicators that suggest regression. 8-4 in one-score games last season, 6 comeback wins when trailing in the fourth quarter. That's not the type of thing you can replicate year over year. Defense is middle of the pack. 5th healthiest team in the NFL last season. That's important. Teams that suffer a catastrophic amount of injuries versus teams that have fantastic seasons like Philadelphia and Baltimore in terms of health, that tends to regress either positively or negatively the next year. Fewer.
Lewis, they've had a really big offseason. We liked their draft. They've signed a lot of people. What do you think?
Yeah, they've had a huge offseason. The offense is going to be even more explosive because the offensive line is better. Laramie Tunsil's there. They draft Josh Connolly. But they This is going to be a football team. Defensively, it worries me a little bit as far as the pass rush is concerned, but they did improve the secondary. Trey Amos is going to be an all-pro at some point in time. I mean, he's a guy who's like a Patrick Surtain II clone, and that's coming from his defensive coordinator Pete Golding down at Ole Miss. No, I think they're going to ascend this year because I think the offense is going to be even more explosive.
All right, let's keep moving forward through the teams because I want to get to Pittsburgh. Joe, the Giants' win total is just 5.5. Do we go more or less?
We go more. We don't need to be great to get to 6 wins. We need to be semi-competent. Russ isn't an elite quarterback in the NFL, but he's an upgrade over the quarterback play they had in New York last season. The addition of Abdul Carter, huge for the defense, which already ranked 3rd in the NFL in sack rate last season. And again, regression indicators. New York was 1-8 in one-score games last season. That should flip. I think we get to 6 wins here.
RC, what do you think?
You know what? I do believe they get to 6 wins, but 6 wins isn't getting this team to the playoffs. They did improve to me, and I think that the way they approached the draft was more of the most competent draft evaluation and execution that we saw this year. This team will be better defensively. Russell Wilson will be better at quarterback than what they had last year. I expect them to get.
And then we'll see when Jackson Dart gets on the field. I thought they had a great draft all the way around. One more win total for you here, Joe. The Steeler total is at 8.5. What do you think?
I'd go less because there's 2 realities here, right? Reality 1, Rodgers ends up playing for the team. And if he does, all right, he'll be 42 years old in December. And the last 2 seasons, we saw him out there in full with the Jets and his last year with the Packers. His offense is ranked in the bottom half of the league in EPA, which is problematic. On the other side, there's a reality where Rodgers doesn't play. And then 8.5 under, that looks real good.
RC, we're talking this way. I know you're disappointed in his words. I opened the show by saying the Steelers are at sea. Like, I just don't understand what they are doing. I don't understand how they managed their draft. They have to know something we don't know about Rodgers. I always come to you on these.
I am a huge Omar Khan fan, the general manager, and I think he's done a great job of being more aggressive and adding talent to this team. A departure from what we've seen from the Pittsburgh Steelers throughout history. They totally botched the quarterback situation with this team. This isn't a room that you can go win at the quarterback position, whether it's Mason Rudolph or Aaron Rodgers. What I do know about people within that building is they believe in Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph has a winning record as the starting quarterback there. They say the locker room believes in Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph ain't going out week after week to beat the Joe Burrows of the world, to beat the Lamar Jacksons of the world. And we've seen this team contend and be competent and compete with many people at the quarterback position. I believe this is the year it catches up to them.
Lewis, I was sitting next to you, and their third-round pick came up, and I couldn't believe they didn't take Shedeur Sanders. And then I wasn't there anymore by the time their fourth-round pick came up, and they didn't take Shedeur Sanders. What is your reaction?
Yeah, I think this season they could be in trouble. But they needed to level up at the quarterback position. I do believe that Aaron would allow them to level up if he could continue on the trajectory he was on in the last quarter of the season. And he comes back in 2025, and he can pick up where he left off. He can strike the right accord with Arthur Smith, and Mike is able to keep him healthy. He's able to keep him on the straight and narrow with his wide receiver core, and things can stay harmonious to a certain degree. I think the defense will be competent enough for them to be a 10-win team season. Without him, look, I know that they believe in Mason. I mean, they like Mason in that role. See, the very definition of a backup is a guy who can come in for 3 to 5 games and hold down the fort.
Right.
It's not the definition is not a guy who can come in and win you 11, 12 games and compete with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. That's not the definition of a backup. And Will Howard ain't going to get it done either. I'm sorry, all Ohio State fans. That's not the answer either. They could be in trouble if this situation doesn't resolve itself.
They should want to be in trouble, though.
What does that mean?
They should want to lose. Like being, and I know this goes against everything that's black and yellow, but they've been a competitive team for the entire time that Mike Tomlin's been there. But since Ben Roethlisberger got to like the last 2 or 3 years of his career, they were not a championship contender.
Right.
And they played just well enough to never get a high enough pick to go get the next Ben Roethlisberger. You're not going to find that dude in free agency either. So whether it's Mason Rudolph, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, they should want to suck finally. They should want to get a top 10 pick in a quarterback draft that looks to be a lot better next year than the one that there was this year.
But see, this is where the confusion comes in for me. And I know people are going to say, hey, look, man, we're tired of talking about Shedeur Sanders. Okay, fine. You can be. So am I. But you know what? This is still a relevant conversation here. In the 4th round, when they picked Jack Sawyer, who is a good college football player, a guy who made a lot of big plays for Ohio State.
Linebacker, Ohio State.
That's right. Why wasn't he considered even that? See, that's the kind of thing, because look, we don't know ultimately what he's going to be as a quarterback in the NFL, but I can tell you this. I would have felt much better at this point in time in the offseason had I had him in the fold as a 4th-round value relative to what I evaluated on tape than with the people that I have right now. And I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to play for us. I would have felt a lot better.
Not mentioned in any of this, they cross over with the NFC North. Those aren't going to be easy games at all. They've got the Chargers on the schedule. They got the Bills on the schedule. And, of course, 2 with the Ravens and 2 with the Bengals. It's not an easy road.
And the other piece for me, too, it's not just about focusing on Shedeur Sanders. It's about trying to upgrade that room in any way, whether it was a guy like Jalen Milroe at an opportunity or a spot where you could have taken him for some value. It didn't seem that the Pittsburgh Steelers had that on their board in the first 2 days of the draft at all. Yeah. And that's what's more perplexing. And this is the other thing about Aaron Rodgers. If he's there, what Aaron Rodgers do you get? Because the guy that's not said or that has not told you whether or not he's going to play doesn't feel bought into.
They're rolling the dice
it's
on Aaron.
They must have. I keep thinking they must have a plan. For the life of me, I don't know.
Cái việc là chị đặt nước ăn sớm sớm ngủ chiều ấy, nó sáng sủa. Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình.